So we've been investigating problems in the New Orleans Safety and Permits Office for years, including a massive federal bribery probe and months-long delays getting building permits. Thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Cherise Gibson.
And I'm Katie Moore. As the city tries to crack down on abuses, David Hammer and his investigation found some new ways the city is catching contractors who try to bypass the safety process.
The New Orleans Sewerage and Water Board blames longtime contractor James Jones for causing hundreds of thousands of dollars in damage to water and sewer lines all across town. Last month, the state licensing board for contractors held Jones responsible for causing a water main break and boil water advisory in New Orleans East last December. But Jones told us he was just trying to fix mistakes made by a different contractor on that same job.
Jon Andersen was there first and broke all the line. When he broke all the line, then they gonna call me in for to come help him.
And he was here earlier, but where did he go?
He left. He left. Jon Andersen went and broke all that. And I come out there and straighten out, and this appreciation I get.
As it turns out, Jon Andersen was at the same licensing board meeting last month, facing totally separate civil charges. After we shot this video of him, he got up and left. And when the board prosecutor called Andersen's case, he was nowhere to be found.
Was he here?
Yes, he was here. I shook his hand outside.
State investigator Stephanie Belanger presented her case against Andersen anyway. For this house he built in Mid-City earlier this year.
It started off as a single-family residence. However, he added on a mother-in-law suite to the back end of it, but he never got the plans reapproved.
She said Randy Farrell Jr., a private third-party inspector hired by Andersen to inspect his work, did exactly what he was supposed to do. Farrell refused to inspect the extra unit Andersen had built because it wasn't in the construction plans approved by the city. And that, Belanger alleged, is when Andersen took matters into his own hands.
He falsified the inspection reports using Photoshop as well as pictures. There's a picture of the inspector, Randy Farrell Jr., with the building or the residence behind it, and he admitted to photoshopping those pictures as well.
These city emails describe how safety and permit staff discovered the alleged ruse. They noticed that a photo of Farrell in front of the completed house looked doctored. Look how the edges of his hair and shirt are smudged so they don't look so obviously pasted onto the photo of the house behind him. The city's in-house inspectors also noticed something was off about Farrell's email address. The photos and reports were sent from nolainspection.com, but Farrell's business domain name is actually nolaiinspect.com. And there's more. The state investigation alleged Andersen faked Farrell's final inspection report by altering a report he'd done earlier.
So Randy Farrell Jr. has indicated that he inspected actually on 1/1/25, but the date of inspection is 4/1/25, right?
Yes.
So I guess in the Photoshop he failed to make those corrections?
Correct.
Even hardened members of the state licensing board couldn't contain their laughter.
I thought that was a state house, city house.
Or their whispers at the absurdity of it all.
Oh, man.
Investigators testified that Andersen admitted to them that he falsified the documents. So we asked licensing board director Brad Hassard about that. That's a public record. So is that a potential criminal violation of injuring public records?
It is potentially that, yes, sir.
Is that going to be recommended for prosecution?
We send everything that we find to be criminal to the appropriate law enforcement agency. It's up to them how they choose to handle that.
David Hammer, WWL, Louisiana.
So Andersen didn't respond to repeated requests for comment. He did, however, ask for another chance to defend himself at the licensing board's August meeting, and that request was granted.